Ganatimirandasya Ganangana Salakaya Chakshun Militam Jaina Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jaina Bhutale Swayam Rupakaramayam Tadati Swapadantikam Tapta Kanchan Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sudhe Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chapter 10, text 157. So, just to give a little background, this is Lord Chaitanya is giving the mercy to Brahmananda Bharati, who is actually originally from the Shankara Sampradaya. And we're seeing how so many amazing devotees were originally in somewhat the impersonal school, and just like we're chanting Srila Prabhupada's pranam mantra, Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhule Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paskadyade Starne. So that second part, Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paskadyade Starne. Our respectful obeisances, O spiritual master, servant of Saraswati Goswami. You are kindly preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya and delivering the Western countries, which are full of impersonalism and voidism. So this was Srila Prabhupada's mission, and at the time that Lord Chaitanya came, he was in the mission of delivering the whole of India from impersonalism and voidism. So just like there's so many great devotees, acharyas and whatnot that abandoned the impersonal concept in India, such as Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Prakashananda, Saraswati, even the four Kumaras, before they smelled the aroma of Tulsi Devi, they were under this conception. And we're seeing in this purport and the translations that Brahmananda Bharati is coming from that school originally. So I'll read from text 156. Mukunda Dutt replied, "Here is Brahmananda Bharati in your presence." The Lord replied, "You are incorrect. This is not Brahmananda Bharati. You must be talking of someone else, for this is surely not Brahmananda Bharati. You simply have no knowledge. Why should Brahmananda Bharati wear a deerskin? When Brahmananda Bharati heard this, he thought, whoa, my deerskin is not approved by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Thus, admitting his mistake, Brahmananda Bharati thought, he spoke well. I put on this deerskin only for prestige. I cannot cross over the ocean of nescience simply by wearing a deerskin. From today on, I shall not wear this deerskin. As soon as Brahmananda Bharati decided this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, understanding his mind, immediately sent for the robes of a sannyasi. As soon as Brahmananda Bharati gave up his deerskin and covered himself with sannyasi robes, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and offered his respects at his lotus feet. I find that interesting that he's offering the lotus feet, Brahmananda Bharati's lotus feet. Brahmananda Bharati said, "You instruct the general populace by your behavior. I will not do anything against your wishes. Otherwise, you will not offer me respects, but will neglect me, and I am afraid of this." So we see this in the history of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita and other pastimes of the Lord, where the Lord reprimands his servant in some respect. And this is also found, the history goes back to Madhya Lila chapter 20, when the Lord instructs Sanatana Goswami. So what we're seeing here is the Lord is giving his mercy to the devotees who are under his direction, and bringing them to a higher level of Krishna consciousness so they can properly become pure devotees of Krishna. And this is exemplified in the also in the Lord instructing Sanatana Goswami, Madhya Lila chapter 20. This is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt unlimited happiness to observe Sanatana Goswami's strict following of the principles of sannyas. How? This is text 82, chapter 20, Madhya Lila. However, he repeatedly glanced at the woolen blanket of Sanatana Goswami. Because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was repeatedly glancing at this valuable woolen blanket, Sanatana Goswami could understand that the Lord did not approve of it. He then began to consider a way to give it up. Thinking in this way, Sanatana went to the bank of the Ganges to bathe. While there, he saw that a mendicant from Bengal had washed his quilt and had spread it out to dry. Sanatana Goswami then told the Bengali mendicant, "My dear brother, please do me a small favor. Trade me your quilt for this woolen blanket." The mendicant replied, "Sir, you are a respectable gentleman. Why are you joking with me? Why would you trade your valuable blanket for my own quilt?" Sanatana Goswami said, "I am not joking. I am speaking the truth. Kindly take this blanket in exchange for your torn quilt." Saying this, Sanatana Goswami exchanged the blanket for the quilt. He then returned to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with the quilt on his shoulder. When Sanatana Goswami returned, the Lord asked, "Where is your woolen blanket?" Sanatana Goswami then narrated the whole story to the Lord. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then said, "I have already deliberately considered this matter. Since Lord Krishna is very merciful, he has nullified your attachment for material things. Why should Krishna allow you to maintain a last bit of material attachment? After vanquishing a disease, a good physician does not allow any of the disease to remain. It is contradictory to practice madhukari and at the same time wear a valuable blanket. One loses his spiritual strength by doing this, and one will also become an object for jokes." So this madhukari is the renounced order. Is it? Oh yeah, and the recipient who is following madhukari begs from person to person. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Sanatana Goswami replied, "The Supreme Personality of Godhead has saved me from the sinful life of material existence. By his desire, my last piece of material attraction is now gone." Being pleased with Sanatana Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bestowed his causeless mercy upon him, and by the Lord's mercy, Sanatana Goswami received the spiritual strength to inquire from him. So here we're seeing how the Lord is elevating his devotees to higher and higher platforms of spiritual advancement, going back home, back to Godhead. In this same mood, the Lord, actually, I think it was Raghunath Das Goswami asked Rupa Goswami to request Lord Chaitanya to ask him, because he wasn't talking directly with Lord Chaitanya. Is that right? Oh, Raghunath Bhatta, yeah. Yeah. He said that the instruction in regards to his vrata was that one should abandon luxuriant dress. One should not speak Rama Katha, that means jalpa, nonsense talk, and this is most important for me, don't eat opulently, and yes, do not dress luxuriantly. So in this way, Lord Chaitanya was traveling all over India and annihilating the impersonalists and converting them to pure devotees of the Lord. Just as our Srila Prabhupada came here to the Western countries on the direction of his spiritual master and has annihilated the impersonalism and voidism that is so much prominent in all over the world, for that matter. So we'll continue. Text 162. Brahmananda Bharati said, "You instruct the general populace by your behavior. I will not do anything against your wishes. Otherwise, you will not offer me respects, but will neglect me. And I am afraid of this. At the present moment, I see two Brahmins. One Brahmin is Lord Jagannath, who does not move, and the other Brahmana, who is moving, is you. Lord Jagannath is Archa Vigraha, the worshipable deity, and it is he who is the non-moving Brahman. However, you are Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and you are moving Brahman. You are moving here and there. Both of you are the same Brahman, master of material nature, but you are playing two parts, one moving and one not moving. In this way, two Brahmins are now residing at Jagannath Puri, Purushottama. Of the two Brahmins, you are fair complexioned, and the other, Lord Jagannath, is blackish. However, both of you are delivering the whole world." So here Brahmananda Bharati is actually glorifying the Lord and giving the exact information, the transcendental information to understand Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 165. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, "Actually, to tell you the truth, due to your presence, there are now two Brahmins at Jagannath Puri. Both Brahmananda and Gora Hari are moving, whereas the blackish Lord Jagannath is sitting tight and immobile. Purport. Brahmananda Bharati wanted to prove that there is no difference between the Supreme Lord and the Jiva, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to prove that he and Brahmananda Bharati were Jivas. Although the Jivas are Brahman, they are many, but the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Brahman, is one. On the other hand, Brahmananda Bharati wanted to prove that Jagannath and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are one, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But to fulfill his mission, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared to be moving, whereas Lord Jagannath appeared to be inert. However, both of them are one and the same. Thus, this jolly argument was going on. Brahmananda Bharati referred the whole matter to Sarva Bhoma Bhattacharya for a final decision. So Sarva Bhoma Bhattacharya is the deciding factor here. And Brahmananda Bharati said, "My dear Sarva Bhoma Bhattacharya, please become the mediator in this logical argument between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and me." Brahmananda Bharati continued, "The living entity is localized, whereas the Supreme Brahman is all-pervading. That is the verdict of the revealed scriptures." Brahmananda Bharati, purport, Brahmananda Bharati drew Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's attention because he wanted him to judge the argument. He then stated that Brahman, the Supreme Lord, is all-pervading. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Kshetragyam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata kshetragayor jnanam yatajnanam matam mama. O sign of Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies, and to understand this body and its owner is called knowledge. That is my opinion. Bhagavad Gita 13:3. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his Paramatma feature, is expanded elsewhere, everywhere. The Brahma Samhita says, Andantarasta paramanu chayantarastam. By virtue of his all-pervasive nature, the Supreme Lord is within the universe as well as within all elements of the universe. He is even within the atom. In this way, the Supreme Personality is all. The Supreme Lord, Govinda, is all-pervasive. On the other hand, the living entities are very, very small. It is said that the living entity is 1/10,000th of the tip of a hair. Therefore, the living entity is localized. Living entities rest on the Brahman effulgence, the bodily rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So does anyone have any comments or question at this point? Anything they'd like to add or subtract? Okay, then we'll continue. Text 169. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu purified me by taking away my deer skin. This is proof that he is all-pervasive and all-powerful, and I am subordinate to him. Purport. Brahmananda Bharati herein asserts that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Brahman, and that he is the subordinate Brahman. This is confirmed in the Vedas. Nityo nityanam chaitanas chaitananam The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Brahman, or Param Brahman, the chief of all living entities. Both the Supreme Brahman, or the Personality of Godhead, and the living entities are persons, but the Supreme Brahman is the predominator, whereas the living entities are predominated. Very important distinction. Text 170. His bodily hue is golden, and his whole body is like molten gold. Every part of his body is very beautifully constructed and smeared with sandalwood pulp. Accepting the renounced order, the Lord is always equipoised. He is firmly fixed in his mission of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, and he is firmly situated in his dualistic conclusion and in his peace. This is a quote from the Mahabharata, Vishnu Sahasranam Stotra 127, 92, 75th verse. Text number 171. All the symptoms mentioned in the verse from Vishnu Sahasranam Stotra are visible in the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His arms are decorated with ornamental bangles made of sandalwood pulp, and the thread received from the Sri Jagannath deity. So how is that Lord Chaitanya has the thread received from the Jagannath deity? It's obvious. Yeah. Okay. So this is a very beautiful description. After hearing this, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya rendered his judgment, saying, Brahmananda Bharati, I see that you are victorious. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately said, I accept whatever Brahmananda Bharati has said. It is quite all right with me. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thus posed himself as a disciple and accepted Brahmananda Bharati as his spiritual master. He then said, the disciple is certainly defeated in an argument with the spiritual master. Brahmananda Bharati immediately countered these words, saying, this is not the cause of your defeat. There is another cause. This is your natural characteristic. You accept defeat at the hands of your devotee. There is also another glory of yours, which I ask you to hear attentively. I have been meditating on the impersonal Brahman since my birth, but since I have seen you, I have fully experienced Krishna. So here's an example of another impersonalist, but by the Lord's mercy and by the Lord's effulgence and by seeing the Lord, Brahmananda Bharati has become a pure devotee of the Lord, following in the personalists. Purport: Brahmananda Bharati admitted that when there is an argument between the spiritual master and the disciple, the spiritual master is naturally victorious. Although the disciple may put forward a strong argument, in other words, it is customary that the words of the spiritual master are more worshipable than the words of a disciple. Under the circumstances, since Brahmananda Bharati was in the position of a spiritual master, he emerged victorious over Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who considered himself Brahmananda Bharati's disciple. We see this in the example of when Srila Prabhupada first saw his spiritual master at Altadanga Road, was it? Anyway, Srila Prabhupada heard the excellent talk that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was giving, and then when the questions came, first Bhaktisiddhanta saw Srila Prabhupada and he said, "You are intelligent young man, educated. You should take this spiritual knowledge to the Western countries." And Prabhupada objected. He said, "But isn't there a need for first getting the British out of India?" Because he was also, Prabhupada was a student of Gandhi at that time. And Bhaktisiddhanta said, "No, this transcendental knowledge cannot wait. It is more in need at this time." That is the instruction of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. So here we're seeing in a similar light that the spiritual master has the last word, and it's usually the most potent and directing and transcendental. So, yes, Brahmananda Bharati reversed the argument and took the position of a devotee, admitting that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. This means that the Lord was voluntarily defeated out of affection for the devotee. He was defeated voluntarily because no one can defeat the Supreme Lord. Concerning this, the words of Bhishma and Srimad Bhagavatam are important. Swanigamam apayhaya mat patidgam ritam adikartam ava pluto rata sta drita rata karona charona biatyach chalad gur harir eva hantam ibam gato taraya. Fulfilling my desire and sacrificing his own promise, he got down from the chariot, took up its wheel, and ran toward me hurriedly, just as a lion goes to kill an elephant. He then dropped the outer garment on the way. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.9.37. So Krishna promised to fight in the battle of Kurukshetra, but in order to break Krishna's promise, Bhishma attacked Arjuna in such a vigorous way that Krishna was obliged to take up a chariot, wheel, and attack Bhishma. The Lord did this to show that his devotee was being maintained as at the sacrifice of his own promise. Brahmananda Bharati said, "Since the beginning of my life, I was attached to impersonal Brahman realization. But as soon as I saw you, I became very much attached to the personality of Godhead, Krishna. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Lord Krishna himself, and thus Brahmananda Bharati became his devotee." Text 176. Brahmananda Bharati continued, "Since I have seen you, I have been feeling Lord Krishna's presence in my mind and have been seeing him before my eyes. I now want to chant the holy name of Lord Krishna. Over and above this, within my heart, I consider you to be Krishna, and I am therefore very eager." We're seeing how Brahmananda Bharati has not only seen the light, but he's seen the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna, manifest in the body of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 177. Bilva Mangala Thakur abandoned his impersonal realization for the realization of the personality of Godhead. I now see that my condition is similar to his, for it has already changed. Purport. In his early life, Bilava Mangala Thakur was an impersonalist monist, and he used to meditate upon the impersonal Brahman effulgence. Later, he became a devotee of Lord Krishna, and his explanation of this change is given in a verse, text 178, that is quoted in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Gradually, one comes to the stage of Bhagavan realization of the Supreme Person after having attained the lower stages of realization. Impersonal Brahman, realized and localized Paramatma. This is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita by Brahmananda Saraswati. Prabhupada gives the example of one who's, I don't know if you've been in New York on the subway trains, but there's a platform where everyone's waiting. And at first you see the light. That's the light of the subway train coming in. And then this is the Brahman effulgence. And then two, you see the stage of realization, the localized Paramatma, that the train is coming to a stop, and then Paramatma realization is seeing all the living entities on the train. So this is Kaivalya Narakayate Tridisha Pur Akasha Pushpayate Durdan Driya Kalasarpa Patali Pukata Damstrayate Vishvam Purna Sukayate Vidhi Mahendradis Cha Kitayate Yat Karuna Kataksha Vaibhava Vatam Tam Goram Eva Stama. Kaivalya, oneness in the effulgence of Brahman, appears hellish to the devotee. The hellish planets, the abodes of the demigods, appear to a devotee like phantasmagoria. The yogis meditate for sense control, but for the devotee, the senses appear like serpents with broken teeth. The devotee doesn't have to control his senses, for his senses are already engaged in the Lord's service. Consequently, there is no possibility that the senses will act like serpents in the material condition. The snake is no longer dangerous. The entire world is a replica of Vaikuntha for the devotee because he has no anxiety. He sees that everything belongs to Krishna, and he does not want to enjoy anything for himself. He does not even aspire for the position of Lord Brahma. Or Indra. He simply wants to engage everything in the service of the Lord. Therefore, he has no problem. He stands in his original constitutional position. All this is possible when one receives the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's merciful glance. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there are many more verses illustrating the same discussion. Dikurvati cha brahma yoga vidushchatam korachandram namaha tavad brahma kata vimukta padavi tavana ditvavat tavachchastra vidam mita kalakalo nana bahir vartmasu Sri Chaitanya Padam Bhuja Priya Jano Yavanna Diggochara Goraschara Sakala Marat Kopi Me Tivravirya. A discussion of the impersonal Brahman is not very palatable to a devotee. The so-called regulations of the Shastras also appear null and void to him. There are many people who argue over the Shastras, but for a devotee, such discussions are but tumultuous, roaring, by the influence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all these problems disappear. Are there any thoughts on any of these points so far? Yes. Okay. Uh, okay, so yeah, by this example of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chastising and also elevating his disciples in the instance of Brahmananda Bharati and also, was that Sanatana Goswami? He was emphasizing the point that even though it's external, it also has a lot to do about renunciation, because how we dress, how we determines also our consciousness to some degree. And therefore when Lord Chaitanya had them take on different cloths that were in the form of a renunciate, therefore he was properly executing his service to elevate his disciples to a higher platform and bring them closer to pure devotional service. Okay. Anything else there? All right, we've got a few more minutes. Text 178. Brahmananda Bharati concluded, although I was worshipped by those on the path of monism and initiated into self-realization through the yoga system, I am nonetheless forcibly turned into a maidservant by some cunning boy who was always joking with the gopis. And who is that? In the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Sri Krishna. This is actually a verse written by Bilva Mangala Thakur. It is found in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Does everyone remember Bilva Mangala Thakur? He was the devotee who was so much attached to the prostitute. Who was it? Not Pingala, but anyway, he was going to visit her, and on one very extreme thunderstorm, he was swimming across the river to reach Chintamani's abode, and he grabbed onto a snake, and he realized, not at that point, but this is the trouble that he went through. At one point, I think it was in regards to another situation where he was attempting to enjoy. He asked a Brahmin who came to his house if he could, what? Yeah. And asked if he could enjoy with his wife. And when the Brahmin said yes, he realized what he was saying. And he, at one point, took 2 hairpins and plucked out his eyes so that he wouldn't have to see the form of a woman. I don't know exactly when he did that. Do you know? At the same. What? Okay. Ask someone else what? Okay. Please tell me, Mother. At what point in time did Bilva Mangala Thakur take the hairpins and pull out? Yeah. 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 Okay. Right there. Very amazing. So, thank you for that. Should I repeat it? No, okay. So we'll continue here. Text, yeah. Text 179. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, "You have a deep ecstatic love for Krishna. Therefore, wherever your eyes turn, you simply heighten your Krishna consciousness." Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, "Both your statements are correct. Krishna gives direct audience through his own mercy." Text 181. Without having ecstatic love for Krishna, one cannot see him directly. Therefore, through the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Brahmananda Bharati has acquired direct vision of the Lord. Purport. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "You are Brahmananda Bharati, an advanced devotee who ecstatically loves the Supreme Lord. Therefore, you see Krishna everywhere, and there is no doubt about it." Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was a meditator, mediator between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Brahmananda Bharati, and his judgment was that an advanced devotee like Brahmananda Bharati sees Krishna by Krishna's mercy. Krishna directly presents himself before the vision of an advanced devotee. Sri Brahmananda Bharati was an advanced devotee. He saw Krishna in the person of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the words of Brahma Samhita 5:38. Premanjana charita bhakti vilochanena santak sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti yam shama sundaram achintya gunaswarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship the primeval Lord Govinda, who is always seen by the devotee, whose eyes are anointed with the pulp of love. He is seen in his eternal form of Shama Sundar, situated within the heart of the devotee. Text 182. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, what are you saying? Lord Vishnu saved me." Such glorification is simply another form of blasphemy. Purport. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a little embarrassed by Bhattacharya's statement. Therefore, he uttered the name Vishnu to save himself. The Lord herein confirms that if one is overestimated, glorification is just another form of blasphemy. In this way, he protests this so-called offensive statement. Wow, very heavy. Anybody want to comment on that? Okay. Text 183. After saying this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took Brahmananda Bharati with him to his residence, and from that time on, Brahmananda Bharati remained with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we're seeing how Brahmananda Bharati, through this amazing exchange with Lord Chaitanya, has elevated his consciousness free from the impersonalist conception and is able to be one of the eternal associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Later, Ramabhadra Acharya and Bhagavan Acharya also joined them, and giving up all other responsibilities, remained under Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's shelter. Text 185. The next day, Kashishvar Goswami also came and remained with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who received him with great respect. Kashishvar used to usher Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu into the Jagannath temple. He would precede the Lord into the crowd and keep the people from touching him. Text 187. As all the rivers flow into the sea, all the devotees throughout the country finally came to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's shelter. Seeing all the devotees came to him for shelter, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed them all mercy and kept them under his protection. Thus I have described the meeting of all the Vaishnavas with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Whoever hears this description ultimately attains his shelter, praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy. I, Krishnadas, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki, Sri Sri Radha Golokananda ki, Sri Kartik Vratas, Sri Kartik ki jai.
Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Agom Vikamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Vasyan Dipan Dikayanti Jiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigraha
Param Sat Chit Ananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Namam Ishvaram Satchidananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yashoda Bioluka Ladavamanam Param Ristram Atyanta Todrutya Gopya Yashoda Bioluka Ladavamanam Param Ristram Atyanta Todrutya Gopya Rudanta Mohor Netra Yugmam Rajantam Karamboja Yugmena Satanka Netram Rudanta Mohor Netra Yugmam Rajantam Karamboja Yugmena Satanka Netram Muhuswasa Kampatire Kankakanta Stita Griva Damodaram Bhakti Badam Muhuswasa Kampatire Kankakanta Stita Griva Damodaram Bhakti Badam Iti Driksvalila Birananda Kunde Swagoshamni Majantam Akyat Payantam Lila Birananda Kunde Swagoshamni Majantam Akyat Payantam Tadi yeshi tad yeshu bhaktir jitatvam Punar prema tastam satariti vande Yeshi tad yeshu bhaktir jitatvam Punar prema tastam satariti vande Varam deva moksham na moksham davimva Nachanyam vrineham vareshadapiha Varam deva moksham na moksham davimva Nachanyam vrineham vareshadapiha Idam teva purnata gopala balam Sada me manastya virastam kimanyai Idam teva purnata gopala balam Nastam kimanyai Idam te mukhambojam atyanta nilair Ritam kundulai snigda raktaisya gopya Idam te mukhambojam atyanta nilair Ritam kundulai snigda raktaisya gopya Muhushchumbitam bimba raktam darame Manasya virastam alam lakshalabhai Muhushchumbitam bimba raktam darame Manasya virastam alam lakshalabhai Namo Deva Damodarananda Vishnu Prasida Prabho Dukha Jalabni Magnam Namo Deva Damodarananda Vishnu Sita Prabho Dukkha Jalabni Magnam Kripa Dristi Vristaditinam Bhatanu Grihanesha Mamagyam Ajakshi Drishya Vidam Dristi Vristaditinam Bhatanu Grihanesha Mamagyam Ajakshi Drishya Kuvera Manjo Bada Murjaiva Yadvat Twaya Mochito Bhakti Bhajo Kritocha Kuvera Manjo Bada Murjaiva Yadvat Twaya Mochito Bhakti Bhajo Kritocha Tata Prema Bhaktim Swakame Prayacha Namokshe Graho Mesti Damodareha Tata Prema Bhaktim Swakame Prayacha Namokshe Graho Mesti Damodareha Namaste Studamne Sparadipti Damne Tvadiyodarayata Visvasya Damne Namaste Studamne Sparadipti Damne Tvadiyodarayata Visvasya Damne Namo Radhikai Twadiyai Priyayai Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam Namo Radhikayai Twadiyai Priyayai Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam Namo Radhikayai Twadiyai Priyayai Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam Namo Radhikayai Twadiyai Priyayai Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe 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 Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Radhe Jaya Radha Kananda Radha Golokananda Radha Jaya Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Jaya 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 Giri Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Shri Shri Radha Damodar Ki Jai Shri Kartik Vrata Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Golokananda Ki Jai Gaur Premanandi Haribo. To the Supreme Controller, who possesses a blissful knowledge, whose listening earrings swing to and fro, who manifested himself in Gokula, who stole the butter that the gopis kept hanging from the rafters of their storerooms, and who then quickly jumped up and ran in retreat near Brahma Yashoda, what will ultimately come. To that Supreme Lord, Sri Damodar, I offer my humble obeisances. Upon seeing his mother's whipping stick, he cried and rubbed his eyes again and again with his luxurious hand. His eyes were fearful and freely quick, and as Mother Yashoda bound his belly with ropes, he shivered inside and his firm language shook. To this Supreme Lord, Sri Damodar, who is bound by a devotion love, I offer my humble obeisances. Those super excellent pastimes of Lord Krishna's babyhood, drowned in the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy. To the devotees who are attracted only to the majestic aspect of Narayan and Vaikuntha, Lord here reveals, I am conquered and overwhelmed by pure loving devotion. The Supreme Lord Damodar, my obeisances hundreds and hundreds of times. O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for liberation, nor eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon. My only prayer is that your childhood pastimes may constantly appear in my mind. O Lord, I do not wish to even... I simply wish that your childhood pastimes ever be enacted in my heart. O Lord, the cheeks of your blackish lotus face, which is encircled by locks of curling hair, have become reddened like bimba fruit due to Mother Yashoda's kisses. What more can I describe than this? Millions of opulences are of no use to me, but may this vision constantly remain in my mind. O unlimited Vishnu, O Master, O Lord, be